dignitaries on the dais, I am really happy to be in the second Indian Students' Parliament. Friends, the subject is very wonderful. It is social networking for social action. I remember that from the days of Upanishads, even till date, over the period of about 3,000, 4,000 or 6,000 years in India, we have the convocations, and during convocation, there is an advice by the guru to the student. Many things are advised to the student, but one very important and pertinent thing is there. What is most valuable thing in life? What a human being should achieve? So, when the advice is there, the guru says that, "Oh student, you must not forget that the ultimate goal and ultimate aim of life is deyam. You must give." You are all familiar with Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, blogs, etc. Internet, emails, facilities are with you. These are the tools. These are the tools. This is a sword having two edges. It is up to you how to use this particular sword. If it is used wrongly, it will destroy the thing. If it is used properly, it will facilitate the creation. So my friends, you have to be very careful when using all this social networking for social action. For this, you have to create your own identity, because that is the ultimate goal of every individual, to create identity. And when you create identity, your identity has to be positive. Why I am telling you this? Because these are the different social networks. On networks, you are appearing, you are entered, and you are creating your identity. But that identity has to be positive. And your identity should be for the social work, for the social cause, and it should serve the humanity. That is very important, because humanity is a blessing. Serving the humanity is the blessing only for the human being, not for the other animals. You must understand that when you are doing social networking, there are very many advantages. It is, you are keeping in touch with other individuals. You are getting the feedback from other individuals. You are sharing your thoughts with other individuals. It is cost effective. You are establishing relationship. You are attracting people. All these are positive things, but there are negative things also, and you should be very, very careful about that. And that is, you should not wrongly use the things, because it can damage your reputation. It can create addiction also. So you must take full care that you are democratizing every issue and trying to give service to the community and nation. You should not forget that networking is a revolution, and it must be led in a very positive and judicious manner. So this is a test for every youth, every young person, that whenever he is using this modern technology for his benefit, for his entertainment, he should be so cautious, but at the same time, he must focus his attention on serving the humanity, serving the society. And that is why it should not be only self-oriented, it should be for everybody. Friends, there are very many issues whereby you can serve the humanity. It can be health awareness, it can be educational awareness. At the same time, I am very much keen on one thing, that Indian society is today suffering from hypocrisy. We have got different values in the home. When we become a member of the society, when we come out, our values are different. This is a sort of hypocrisy. It is in the hands of youth that they should be of one piece. There should not be duplicity. There should not be duality. There should not be hypocrisy. And this can be done by these young youth. And if they do it, I think many evils of the society will definitely go away, when this hypocrisy or duplicity will go from the society. So through this social networking, you can make one of the thing as your target. Because you see, if you want to become great in life, it is not a journey of 1 or 2 years. It is a journey of 20, 30, 40 years. So today you have to choose the area of social work in which you are liking. And when you will choose it, gradually after 5, 10 years, you will get identity, and you will be identified for that particular quality all over the country and sometimes all over the world also. So this is very important, and this is the advantage of social networking if it is used properly. Finally, while concluding, friends, I would like to say that social networking is in the blood of every Indian, because we have been doing social networking from Vedic period. So the message of togetherness, message of cooperation, message of international receptivity, and message of globalization is a part and parcel of Indian blood. So I think that through this, you can go ahead and work very hard. Friends, I am really thankful to the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Jai Hind.
गुड आफ्टरनून पार्लियामेंट। मैं भारत माता का पुत्र अंशुल विजय राठी माँ की शान में सिर्फ यही अर्पण करता हूँ। भारत भू पर पैदा हुए, भारत के लिए मिट जाएंगे, मरते मरते भी भारत माँ की जय कहलाएंगे। क्या हुआ जो मिट गए वतन के वास्ते, क्या हुआ जो मिट गए वतन के वास्ते, अपने आप खुल जाएंगे जतन के रास्ते। Imagine there's no country. This isn't a big deal. Imagine there's nothing to kill and dead. Imagine this globe is for peace. You may think of me as a dreamer, but I'm not alone. Someday, somewhere, we'll all come together and the world will be one. Someday, it's today. And by somewhere, I mean it's social networking sites. We all are called as Facebook dudes and babes. Why? Why are we called as Facebook dudes and babes instead of Indian leaders? The answer is quite simple. There has been lot of many things done underway, but still we are sitting here. The likes of Barack Obama used social networking long before he became the US president, and Shashi Tharoor is being magical on tweets. Then why are we not using social networking site to fight against corruption, to fight against terrorism? Remember, the only way to put out social media fire is by using social media water, that is social networking sites. Atal ji once said, हवाओं के रुख पे छोड़ दो उसे, वो चलना सीख जाएगा। हवाओं के रुख पे छोड़ दो उसे, वो चलना सीख जाएगा। लड़खड़ाएगा पर चलना सीख जाएगा। On the verge of his lines, many things have happened in the world. We know Egypt, which was fighting for democracy for a long time, but was unable to gather the masses. And then with the power of Facebook and Twitter, it collected the mob, and the rest, as we say, is history. Egypt won. They got what they anticipated. My question is, when Egypt can do it, why can't India? Who says you need to be a politician to bring about a change? Who says you need to be a superstar to bring about a change? I say, you just need a Facebook account to bring about a change. Summing up, I would say, social networking is more about sociology and psychology than technology. It's not about hunting for opposite sex and gossiping. It's about farming. It's about cultivating social actions. How can we squander even one more day by not using the greatest shifts of our generation? How dare we settle for something less when we are meant for something magnificent? Summing up, I would just say, let's sign into the social actions using social networking, whereas India, which needs social action, is not formed by Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Bombay, or any other metropolis. Just move down 30 kilometers from the national highways. India is still standing at the same place where Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi had left it. Jai Hind.
Hi everyone. My heart is filled with immense pride and privilege for me to be here on this stage before all dignitaries and before you all. I'm pursuing my master's in US now, but I'm proud enough to say that I'm alumni of MIT SOG. Because of that, I'm confident enough to stand before you all people to just tell some few words about the topic. Rather than going into the subject, I would like to just tell a few words, few examples about the topic now. Like, if you see my hand like this, it's like a free hand now. And when we close the 5 fingers, it becomes a fist, and it hardens the nerves, and it makes the blood fast and makes confidence. We get confidence into the heart, and we stand together in front of anyone to lead any protest and go against anyone. That makes united. We have to be united. Nowadays in India, everyone says that, like when we meet anyone, they'll ask me like, you're from South India. Some people are from West. Some people are from North. Now I would like to say that we should be together, so that we should be united, so that we can fight against any protest in this country. Here, we have to use this social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, and every other social networking sites to post our message on that, and so that we can unite everyone in this country and protest against many issues in this country. And one more thing I would like to say is, we have been connected, we have been acquainted with this social networking system since for about nearly few decades. In 1880, when like in 1947 we earned independence from 320 years of British occupied and rule. In 1880, Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak have started a paper called the Kesari, where he started the era of this social networking system in India, where he have printed in line of his quotation called, "Swaraj is my birthright, we have to have it." And with that quotation, the paper went into the people, and from there the social networking system got started. And the whole world and humankind has got its social networking system as part and parcel of it. But the thing is, now at this moment, we have to rise our. Because I read in a book where Gandhiji said, "I dreamt of a country in which there is no untouchability. I dreamt of a country in which there is no discrimination between the castes. I dreamt of a country in which downtrodden people have to raise their voice against anything." And he dreamt of a country in which there is no toxic drinks or drugs or alcoholic things. And he dreamt of a country in which the education have to go to rural areas. So this is what he dreamt of. But are we there in that country now? You have to decide about that. No, we are not in that country, obviously. So we have to fight against corruption now. There are many issues now in India. And when I'm in US, by seeing the posts on the Facebook, I have got some information there. We have got some information there that there is some agitation going on in India because against the corruption. Then many people there united together, and here the whole world have become a small village, and many people there got united and protested against this corruption, and we have stand over there against the corruption. And I would like to just say one quotation of Vivekananda ji: "Take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is way to success." So everyone will have an idea to go against some issues like women empowerment, like education to rural areas, and you will not have an opportunity to just get out that idea from your mouth, but use the social networking sites like Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, where you can post your idea on that, and you can make the whole India together and go against corruption. Thank you very much.
After listening to His Divine Holiness, very venerated, respected Dalai Lama, who gave a spiritual message, but the quintessence, the very essence of that address to me was that if the human race has to survive, if we have to bring peace to the entire world, India will have to take the leadership. That was the essence of the message to me. When I am standing before you and I have to speak on social networking, which is a subject of science, is a manifestation of technology, manifestation of information and communication technology, to be very specific. So I feel that if India has to take leadership of the world, India has to become the Jagat Guru to provide the peace for the entire world, not only to India, not only to Asia, but to the entire world, then India will have to lead in both science and spirituality. And as Professor Karad and we have been trying, and today is Swami Vivekananda's birthday, and the message he gave from Chicago, way back in 1893, 9 by 11 or 11 by 9, that then science and spirituality will have to come together, nay, you have to become one. It is in this context I am going to speak to you on social networking. Rahul, if you remember, when this second Parliament of Students, Indian Parliament of Students, student leaders, was being composed, he asked me the question, for this session, can we get Mark Zuckerberg? You know Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. We started trying, he started trying. Mark Zuckerberg, for some reasons, could not come because these people are very, very busy. But when I felt that if Mark Zuckerberg cannot be present on this audience, he will be coming on this audience, we will create one Mark Zuckerberg right in India. That is the message. And I'm very pleased that Shailesh Rao, Mr. Shailesh Rao, whom I'm meeting first time, everybody knows Google, how it has transformed the way we seek knowledge. Google is a real manifestation of a PhD thesis of these two gentlemen, Larry Page and his friend, for his PhD thesis. And we have with us the entire knowledge of the entire world that you can search and get it, not only in English, but as Mr. Shailesh Rao told me, that now this knowledge will be available in all Indian languages slowly, one by one. So, and very important, the head of Google, Asia Pacific, you see, the managing director of Google is not from the US. He is from India, Shailesh Rao, who is going to speak to you. Friends, I was in the Indian Science Congress in Bhubaneswar just a week back. Our Prime Minister was addressing. And a lot of things we happened that kind of, where does India stand in science? India, of course, has the second largest scientific and technological manpower. We are creating 1 million engineers and engineering and technical professionals, the largest in the world. Very important. But important issue is that we are still lagging behind. Particularly I was referring to China in terms of patents, in terms of PhD, research peer-reviewed journals, and many things. It is in this context, in 2009 and 10, I was taking a stock of India's position in supercomputing. As Professor Karad said, that we had taken that challenge, India had a great leadership, and 2007 we led, but China came from behind, we don't mind that, and now has almost trying to assume supremacy in this field. Of course, US is ahead. And I had presented a blueprint to the Science Advisory Council, Dr. Mashelkar, Professor C.N.R. of course, who is the chairman, had made a presentation 1 year back, and I was very pleased that this was one of the gigantic project ever conceived on science. I'm talking of science, like our space programs or atomic energy programs. I said now India must embark on developing the world's most powerful information technology infrastructure in terms of supercomputers. And we had set a guideline that India would now develop an exaflop supercomputer. You may not understand, hey, exaflop means kya hai, what is this number? We know million. All of you know Dashalaksha. 10 lakh means million. You know billion. 1000 million means 1 billion. You know trillion, perhaps. 1000 billion means 1000 trillion. And 1000 trillion means 1 petya. There was no name like that earlier in dictionary. 1 petya. And 1000 petya means 1 exa. And 1000 exa means 1 iota. But we are now going to develop, I want to announce here that we want to now, Prime Minister has approved that project. We are now going to develop a computer, a supercomputer that will perform 1 exa mathematical operations per second. Means what? One of the largest infrastructures in the world. And the idea is not to make it available at Indian Institute of Science, in Supercomputing Center or at CDAC, but my goal is, and our goal is, and I'm discussing with Mr. Sam Pitroda, that this infrastructure will be available on the National Knowledge Network, which will connect to all universities, all colleges, all schools of India, so that this will be the platform of innovation. The idea here is like this, that nobody should say that I don't have a computing infrastructure. No, I don't have a computer that can be used for this new discoveries, which are called the third paradigm of discovery and fourth paradigm of discovery. Anyone from any village, even my village of 500 people from any school, all our schools will be connected, as Sam Pitroda announced you. You saw that when the national information infrastructure is being built. All Gram Panchayats will be connected. Everything will be connected with broadband network, through all kind of networks, through mobile networks, and what we are trying to do. So this infrastructure is available to you. What is the importance of this infrastructure? And this computing power will be available to you, which was not available to us for our weather prediction or for our space program, for our defense program. It will be available to every student who is present here, and you go and announce to your college that this is now going to be available. More important issue is that, more important issue which I want to tell before is that, friends, why we want to do that? This is for the inclusive development. Anybody wants to study anything today. The idea is that most people know this, but they are not using it. There is no need to go to, if I don't have money to go to, I think the costly business schools or costly IT schools or to the IITs, you can study everything on the net and at a very, very low cost. Almost no cost, including doing your PhD. Now that is the goal. That is the goal that it really doesn't matter whether my father has money or not, whether I am a student of a farmer, whether I am from Bihar, whether I am from somewhere else, Kanyakumari, somewhere else. I have only intentions to study. And if I have intentions to study, I will get that education, which is available to MIT student, to the Stanford student, to any student in IIT student, and that whole knowledge is available. So don't say, let us not say, carry that message that I cannot study because of this or because of this, my parents are poor, it will be possible. So that everybody will get the opportunity. Friends, I remember we are fighting the barrier of corruption. We are fighting the barrier of corruption, and I was asking the question, which Mahatma Gandhi often said, don't blame that this is wrong with the government, that is wrong with the government, etc. What can I do? How I can be the change that I want to see in others? And I was asking that question to me. And at that time, and currently I am the chairman of the Maharashtra's E-Governance Council. I am also the chairman of the Goa E-Governance Council. And we are trying to advance a concept, which is now also gone to the central government, that it will be mandatory. It will be necessary for everyone, every department, every ministry, every semi-government office, every NGO, every university to provide, every school, to provide all its services through electronic means. Such a law is being put in the Maharashtra Assembly now. It will be put in the government. I think this has gone enormously. Right to information was there, but now right to any service, whatever I want to know from the government, or I want to do anything filing, I will have not to go to any officer of a municipality or a Jilla Parishad or to the Mantralaya. I should be able to see that thing right on my screen, right on my mobile, right on my iPad, and I should be able to do that. Friends, if you do that, today I'm not speaking on social networking, but I think this power has to be used constructively. Of course, any power can be used in wrong way, in negative way, in a destructive way. More it is powerful, it is of course restriction can be more. But the idea here, the platform which we have created here, the idea is to use this power constructively, very constructive to rebuild India again, to wipe out the corruption. This is possible, this is one means which is possible. I remember when the microprocessor came in 1971 from Intel, and we had that microprocessor in 74 in our hands, and it came in 80s in numbers. We had this issue of, we are discussing with the students like you, that what can we do for our elections? There is a booth capturing, bogus voting, what can be done? I said that, can we not use this computer? Can we not design something for this? And people came, okay, the electronic voting machine, the idea was there. So why not we create an electronic voting machine? It was created in my laboratory. Then we called Bale scientists, ECL scientists, and he said, this is very simple. Based on a Motorola processor, electronic voting machine, why can't we use it? We proposed to the government. He said, this is not tried, this is not secure, this is not, but we tried in Kerala. Kerala government agreed that we will do in municipal elections. It was first tried. Later on with T.N. Seshan, who is guiding this platform, guiding MIT also, he said that I will use in 2004 elections. And lakhs of electronic voting machines were used, and you see that we are able to conduct elections of the largest democracy of the world by just one invention like this, which even the United States cannot do. So what I am trying to say, we have a great power before us. IT is before us today. The world recognizes one change which has changed, that this software, these computers, and this IT industry, what we did today, the world recognizes and stands up for you, that the esteem to India has come because of the ICT and also all manifestations of it. Today, when I started my career, like you, when I went out of college, when I did my PhD, the industry was 100 crores. Today, Professor Karad, and now everybody knows that this industry from 100 crores I have seen in my hand is become 5 lakh crores, one of the largest industries of the world. 10% of India's economy comes from this. The question now is that, how to use this power? How to use power, I feel, for our governance, good governance, for good education, for our farming, for our farmers, for building good cities. So these are many challenges which you can do and you can contribute. The objective of this session was to create a portal. How to use social networking. We have proposed e-governance. Social networking will be the tool which should be used for also the governance of all bodies, from Gram Panchayat to the Mantralaya and also the central government. Now the idea is that use student leaderships, student leaders from here. We can create, the Chhatra Sansad can create a great portal, not for just, I think, giving the complaints of what is wrong, but for constructive method. This is wrong with this road, there is no water there, these are water bodies, the bodies or rivers are being polluted. I have a solution, we want to work together. How can we do that? So I want this to be used as a constructive platform for rebuilding India, which is feasible. Lastly, I will say that Swami Vivekananda, Professor Karad often refers, that had made a prophecy that India will one day once again emerge. I think the Honorable respected Dalai Lama also told we have thousands and thousands of 10,000 years of history, first knowledge-based civilization. The time has come that 21st century, we can build again that knowledge-based civilization and for the world, not only for India, and that IT is going to do that. We had all these tools to make this happen, and I want to see a dream by 2047, when India celebrates the centenary of freedom, will emerge as the Jagat Guru of the world to lead the world with the synthesis of science and spirituality, and ICT will make this happen. Friends, with these words I end, but I think great power is before us. I think you are very fortunate you are living in this time when this is called the century of Asia, the century of India, not to dominate over the world, but really to preserve this world and take it through the great, I think, for the ascent of humanity, as many people talked about it. We want to bring peace and prosperity to every world, whole world, everyone. And India alone can do this because that is the philosophy on which India stands. Thank you very much, sir.
These are three examples that hopefully illustrate the power of social media to overthrow a corrupt regime in Egypt, to teach students around the world education, to connect influencers and leaders that we respect when physically they cannot be together, so that we can all benefit. This is the power of social media. And I guess I'd like to ask all of you, in the spirit of the internet, in the spirit of discussion, I'd like to move to question and answer and hear what you have to say. But let me ask you a question. How many in this room as leaders, please raise your hand, use social media today? Please raise your hand. How many of you do? How many of you as leaders use social media to promote your leadership? Keep your hand up. Some hands went down because it's okay that social media is for friends and connection. That's important. But I really want to emphasize that social media is a tool of leadership. And for those who did not raise your hand, I give you a call to action, to go back to your institution, to go back to your school, and invest the time, and be humble, and learn how to use these tools. Ask a friend, ask a family member, and invest to learn. If you learn, it will expand your leadership abilities, amplify your message, and allow you to listen to your constituency. So keep three principles in mind when you go back about this idea of leadership using social media. One, remember that the future 21st century leader and revolution is a leaderless revolution. Remove your ego. Second, in its place, put the idea. The idea married with the fuel of conviction and passion cannot be stacked. Third, amplify your passion, amplify your idea using social media. Spread it to every corner of India, spread it to every corner of the world. If you follow these three principles, leaderless and egoless, idea-driven, and amplify your message using social media, I think the 21st century will be a certainly wonderful time, and India will achieve all of its promise and potential. So go home and continue the conversation. Go home and continue this conversation. Only through social media can 8,000 leaders continue this process. No longer does a conference have to start and stop because 3 days you're physically together. Through social media, you can continue this process every day, 365 days a year. So continue the conversation. Good luck in your leadership. We're all very proud of you, and I'm sure that you'll make India realize all its promise and potential. Thank you.
My question to you is, in a recent survey conducted on social networking sites in India, the results were that social networking just projects an image that we are supporting a particular social cause, but in reality we are just sitting at home warming our couches. I wanted to know your opinion on these findings and how the Indian Student Parliament or the youth of India can do to change these findings.
Thank you. It's a wonderful question. So the question really is, how do we take our thoughts and ideas and lead to action? I can say with confidence, one thing I've learned in my time at Google is the value of doing, of action, of applying your thinking to make a difference. I cannot will you to act. You cannot will your friends to act. That has to come from inside. Nobody can force somebody else to take their ideas and do something about them. But at some point, when you look in the mirror and when you think about the ideas that you have, if you have passion and confidence and you believe that what you think is correct, that should be the fuel that leads to action naturally. I think all of you as leaders understand what is at stake in India. We face problems that no other country faces, and we have opportunities that no country enjoys. What does it mean to be a leader? It means that you have to stimulate those around you to make the transition from ideas to action. That is your job. I can't do it. The dignitaries in this event cannot do it. You have to do it. So when you ask the question, how can we translate ideas to action? I ask you to look in the mirror and realize your responsibility as a leader. That is your job. And these things happen with one person, and then 2 people, and then 3 people, and then 1,000, and then 1 million, and then 1 crore. That's how things begin. Great ideas begin with one person, and they carry forward from there. This is the story of my colleague, who's one person in Egypt, who went and led a revolution. It's the man in the Middle East who lit himself on fire to call attention to corruption. It's all the people that you know who accomplish and do great things. Follow their role model. Look at your heroes. Look at history. Look at your family. Look at many of the speakers here today. And take inspiration and confidence that you can do it too. So the answer is about you. You are the way to translate from ideas to action.
Thank you, sir.
Social networking has increased the risk to life as well as cybercrime. Terrorism uses social networking as an instrument to trace individuals. Is it not doing more harm than good?
Thank you for the question. That's a very important question. Remember that technology is nothing but a tool. At the end of the day, technology doesn't make us better people. It doesn't make us ethical. It doesn't make us bad. It doesn't make us evil. We make those choices as human beings. We are evil. We are good. We promote change. We resist change. Since the beginning of man, all that technology has done is amplify the power of a single individual. From the time that we took 2 sticks, rubbed them together and created fire, today we have the power to launch missiles and destroy entire nations. So the question is not about social media. These are instruments. The question is the human being behind the instrument. Is that human being using that instrument for good or for evil? I'm an optimist, and I believe in people, and I believe in the world, and I believe in this country, and I believe in you. And it's been my observation as I travel around the world that people are fundamentally good. And there's more good in the world than there is bad. And it is your job as leaders to use these tools to promote good, to promote positive change, to spread values that matter, that help realize the potential of the country and the community that you care about. And I fundamentally believe when you look at history and you look around you, you will see that there's far more good than there is bad. There are far better people than there are bad people. And there are far better uses of social media and tools in technology than there are bad uses of tools. So I have to disagree with the conclusion. And I fundamentally believe in the positive potential of us as people, and I think you see that today. And social media, if used correctly, can be extremely powerful. And I encourage you to use it and use it wisely.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आज साइबर क्राइम के इस युग में जहां हर तीसरी आईडी फेक मिलती है, जहां हर कोई आम आदमी अपनी आईडी पे ही बिलीव नहीं कर पाता कि आज मेरी आईडी मेरे पास है, कल बचेगी भी या नहीं। इस साइबर क्राइम के युग में जहां हर रोज हम शाम को रात को दीवारों में अगर दीवारों की तरफ देखते हैं या कोई भी खिड़की खोलते हैं तो वहां सिर्फ नशीली हवाओं का झोंका मिलता है, उस कंडीशन में आज की पॉलिटिक्स को बचाने के लिए ये सोशल नेटवर्क्स किस तरह से मेजर रोल निभा सकती है?
As I mentioned, I think social media can do 2 things. It can help you as a leader listen to the people that you try to serve. Secondly, it can help you share your ideas and spread good ideas around the country. These are the 2 ways that social media can help you as a leader, help this nation realize its potential and live up to its democratic founding ideals. A leader without the faith of its followers is not a leader. It's a discredited leader. So you must listen. And a country that is not unified, that helps each other, through collaboration and sharing is not a strong nation. So again, I would just emphasize that social media is responsible to help leaders listen and share and collaborate. How do you do this? I have a cousin who lives here in Pune. She is a member of Teach for India, and she teaches poor children in poor schools in the Pune area. And she has launched a campaign to seek donations for scholarship money to help these children go to higher studies. She's raised this money through social media. She spread the message and the need for scholarships, not just in India, but around the world. She's received money from the US, from Karnataka, from Maharashtra, from Haryana, from Canada, from around the world. This is a real example, a small example, but an important example of social media helping get the message out about what is needed to help. So I would just emphasize again, learn how to use social media, learn how to use Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube. This is an important point. Don't be afraid. Ask a friend. It's okay not to understand. Sometimes I don't know how to use new things. It's okay. Don't be intimidated. Find a friend, find a family member, and invest the time to learn. Once you learn, use it. Just try. Just try. And if you don't like it, shut it down. It's very easy. Right? So just try. So these are also my two simple recommendations to you. Learn and try. And if you do that, I think you'll find the power of the medium is there.
How the social networking can help the rural people where they are not even getting the basic amenities like electricity.
This question, I think I must answer very clearly. I remember this question has been asked again and again and again. And I will give an example. Way back when India launched the space program, none other than Vikram Sarabhai was questioned, not by a student, by bureaucrat in planning commission. When he presented that India needs to do a space program like this, this was way back, I think, in the late 60s. He said that we are wasting our money by launching these rockets like Diwali rockets. These are like fireworks. Our schools don't have toilets, we don't have chalk, we don't have blackboards. And Vikram Sarabhai's answer is very perceptive. He said, gentlemen, this is correct, but the question is not whether we require launch vehicles and satellites, or we require chalks and blackboards and teachers and toilets. You will realize in the times to come, we require both. We have to work on both fronts together. The question is not either or like this. And today we see that all our water communication infrastructure, where our television infrastructure, our internet infrastructure is because that we pursue both science and technology, as well as we have to now how do we apply it for the upliftment of our farmers, our villages and all that. In fact, social networking is a very powerful tool. If I had to market, I think that already is being used by many NGOs for marketing their products. We of course, I think we have not created tools by which farmers can directly use it. That I have a product, like there is a concept of a whole exchange that can I directly market my product directly to the users, but you have to create a whole infrastructure for that. I see that we will have to create very simple tools. We have to use our language, or you have to use our local languages, or Indian languages to make this happen, and so that I can reach out to those without having any capitals. We have created IT industry is one of the greatest contributions to that. The greatest, like Narayan Murthy. With 10,000 rupees, I can create a company of $1 billion. That is the power of IT industry, I feel like this. Second question I want to answer is that in this context, the question is that cyber crime and this will happen, social networking can be used this way or that. I say, more powerful the medium is, the tool is, it can be used this way or that way. In fact, the cyber world is a replica of the physical world. Here there are great people, are also great thieves. Here there is a crime. Here also so many good things can be done. Cyber world is a reflection of our own, I think, intentions in a different space, but it has got different things. So we must see that, Leo Tolstoy to quote this one, if 100 people come together to use the power of war to destroy the war, then thousands of people must gather together to rebuild that war and to destroy that with powers of destruction. This is the way we can do it.
Could you just throw light on how could we use social networking for promotion of peace?
Social networking can be used for the promotion of peace. I would say that this has been shown by none other than Swami Vivekananda and Mahatma Gandhi. In a different way, I would say. If you look at the Chicago lectures, what message Swami Vivekananda really gave? Swami Vivekananda gave the message that all religions are true. It is like all the rivulets and the rivers join, finally go to the meet in the sea, that there is only one truth. The next message of Vedanta which he gave is that Vedanta's Mahavakya, that we are all one, we are all connected. In fact, we are one. Our consciousness is one. If you are trying to destroy somebody, then you are really destroying yourself. So if we have to really create that kind of thing, that the philosophical message is an action which Mahatma Gandhi brought in, that thing, and this has to be taught. I will reach out to everyone. I can reach out to everyone using the media. Ramdev Baba, you look at Ramdev Baba's yoga, how could you popularize this? By using the TV media. It would not have been possible for one, but yoga thing, I think you see that, but the message is yoga is beyond just health. And this one, I would say that this basic philosophy, what India stands for, or the world stands for, or religion stands for, can be reached out by social networking like never before. And this will be possible. Thank you.
Good evening, all member of parliaments, student. Gandhiji used to say, there are some people who convert their opportunities into problems, and there are some people who convert their problems into opportunities. जगात काही माणसं अशी असतात जे संधीचं समस्येचं संधीत रूपांतर करतात, हातातलं सगळं काही घालवतात, आणि जगात काही माणसं अशी असतात जे समस्येचं संधीत रूपांतर करतात आणि शून्यातून विश्व निर्माण करतात. असे दोघं कराड पिता पुत्र माझ्यासमोर आहेत. I would like to really thank them to give me opportunity to come over here, as well as to make world's biggest democracy, India, make it more healthier with the help of these youth. When there is rain, all the birds, they occupy shelter, but eagle, to avoid rain, fly above the clouds. So whatever problem you have, but attitude makes a lot of difference. That's what we have to think. Now I have to talk on social networking. You all know, you all have seen few months back, Anna Hazare, his fight against corruption, and it was only possible just because of social networking. Not only Anna Hazare, but if you see Egypt, Cuba, Libya, their fight against corrupt rulers, even that was just possible because of this social networking. Everything, whichever has advantage, it has drawbacks as well as disadvantages as well. Few of the advantages I would like to mention. Just 3 days back, even I was discussing with Rahulji. 3 days back, it was there in the newspaper. It's an advantage, I would like to say. 1/3 of the divorces in UK has been in the survey just because of social networking. But I read something else also, that there were some sexual harassment as well as rape cases because of this social networking. That means it has advantages as well as drawbacks also. But I would like to say, every bad situation will have something positive. As a stop clock on the wall, it also gives twice a day correct timing. That means something bad also can give you something good. And I think my 3 minutes are over. But again, and because the program is already running very, very late, so thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thanks a lot, and Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
A loud clap. Something that is so uncommon for a second year BCom student. I definitely would want to welcome him and congratulate him on this achievement. In fact, his interest in this area is something that is commendable and admirable.
Session 9, Social Networking for Social Action and Development. We, the student leaders of India, assembled here in the 2nd Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, Pune, India, hereby resolve to make social networking a tool of social development, where all the developmental issues will get priority, so that government could utilize it as a reliable source of public opinion. Alright, so people, here are the results. Yes with 92.16%. और क्योंकि कुछ लोग इत्तेफाक नहीं रखते, Sukan sir with 9, no 7.84%. So a big clap for 92.16%. Come on guys, up the hand. भारतीय छात्र संसद